The other aspect that I think is really interesting as you came in with the team series is these riders for 30 years had only ever competed as individuals. Talk a little bit about what you and what Coach Michael Gaffney did as leaders of the organization to bring the team mentality.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. It was a sport that's been around for over 100 years. It was one bull and one rider, and that was it. And really, nobody else had to count on them. They didn't have to count on anybody else. And so conversely, for me, my entire life had been growing up in team sports, being in and around teams and being on teams with people that you like, people that you don't like, but having to reach a common goal and all those different things and riding, working for someone potentially that you don't like, all those things that you learn in team sports. And so that was one of the biggest things for us is how are we going to create a team culture in a sport that's been primarily individual since day one? And so as we looked around at different, thoughts and ideas of how we could do this, should we bring in, another team sport coach? Should we bring in a Mike Krzyzewski or a Mike Tomlin or somebody else from sports and bring them in and teach these guys? And, for a lot of our guys, and half of them are from Brazil, so they don't know who those people are anyway. And so we really looked at what groups of organizations are great at team culture and team building and have to in really tough, dire situations. And then we thought about the military, thought about special operations. And so through some connections that we had, we were able to get in touch with some different members of the Navy SEALs, specifically Michael Sorelli, who's here in Austin, part of the Legacy Expeditions, writes for Men's Journal, SEAL Team 6 guy, does a lot of speaking on leadership. He's a thought leader and just a great human being. So we got with him. He basically put together a program for us in year one where he brought in different special forces guys, different leadership folks, talk about the importance of working together as a team, talk about the importance of counting on each other, everything from classroom work. So we actually would go out and do different team building drills. They took him out on Lake Austin, which is right here outside of our offices, and got him on a barge. And to watch these little bull riders trying to push this barge together and then have these guys barking at them. But it's been great. And I think all the teams, I think maybe everybody went about it a little bit different, but I think all 8 teams to this point, and I know that the 2 new teams coming in will do the same thing, I think have done a great job in building team culture. And I think all of us were surprised at how well it's gone and how open the riders ultimately became. Because at the beginning, they weren't. At the beginning, they're like, what is this team thing? I don't understand what this is. Why would I want to be on a team? I want to control my own destiny. I don't have to worry about this guy, screwing things up for me.
Literally the definition of a cowboy, I believe.
Truly, right? And so, I mean, and for those that have watched the ride, you listen to some of the guys talking about that. Eli Bossbender, who was with the Oklahoma Freedom at the point in that time, talked about, I don't get this team thing, I don't understand what it is. But by the end of the season, and when we were doing a promo tour on the series, he had talked about how fully bought in. And I think that goes for almost everybody in the league. And it's been really neat for these guys because, when you really think about it, it's when you win as a team or lose as a team, it's just so much more impactful as opposed if it's just by yourself. And so it's been fun to see, not only the success that we've had with the gamblers, but throughout the league and how this thing's caught fire. But I think that's ultimately also helped in the development and the ultimate expansion now from going from 8 teams to 10 teams, as you talked about before.